Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Andre Faust, and what I'm going to describe is my first lethal Hubsanh109s crash, which was not the fault of the pilot. It was something inherent with the drone itself. Now, I have a background in, in running boats, and I follow the same protocols. I first plan out my flight plans, and as you can see, I start out on the bottom part of the triangle. You see 6.7 degrees and 66 meters. And then my second point, I go from 94 meters at a degree of 338 degrees, which is almost north. North is 360 or 0. Then I come back on not quite a reciprocal, 123 meters and at 190 degrees, which should have brought it back to the place of origin. However, things did not quite work out that way, as we'll see. So keeping in line with this here is that I also keep a log, and as we can see from this log, I've got today's date, June 9th, 2018, the drone model, and how many knots, and the conversion, and what the temperature was. So it was 10 knots, 19 kilometers temperature, 19 degrees Celsius. The wind was coming at me at approximately west-northwest. The actual direction was 301 degrees. So the wind wasn't too great. So I log what my start battery time is, and what the console readings are, and at the conclusion of the flights I put my end. But in this case here, the flight time was so short that it was irrelevant to put the time in. Now, if you look over into this side here, I have procedure, do visual inspection, and that's what I do. Check the drone first visually, turn on the console, turn on the quad at levels, minimum acquire 9 satellites, but normally I wait till I get 10. I do my quad calibration, horizontal and vertically, and I power on my propellers, and I do an ascent of 3 meters, and I do a GPS test hold, test camera, and all controls. Those are all kind of the little things that I do before I depart. Of course, here it went bad during the test. I was at about 8 feet above me, and I noticed that the quad was just not acting the way it should be. I brought it back down, recalibrated to see if that corrected the problem. I went back, I did a yaw to the starboard side, and to the port side, and then back to starboard side, and then it became very unstable, and it dropped very, very quickly. And of course, when it landed upside down. As quick as I tried to be, I couldn't shut the propellers down fast enough, but I did shut it down, and I did notice a burning smell to it. So at that time I didn't try to do any further diagnostic. I just basically aborted the mission and brought the drone back to home base, where I did a forensic, and the remainder of this video is going to be the diagnostics that I did, and what the conclusions and what the results were. So on with the forensics. Well, earlier today I had quite a surprise. I would have lost the drone, but what I always do is that I always do pre-test flights. Well, something went bad, something went wrong, and I'm going to zoom in and see if we can capture what was going on here. See if I can shed some light on this. That's a little too much of a good thing. Anyway, okay, there we go. What happened is that I burn out this capacitor right here and these 4 transistors. There was an actual flame that came out of here. Unfortunately, I also cooked the motor. And anyway, sometimes good things happen, sometimes bad things happen. Of course, it's nothing that I can't repair. The challenge is going to be getting the parts for it. So let's kind of scoot over and look at and see what a normal. So you can see there isn't anything burnt or anything like that. You know, it looks pretty clean. That's the difference between a good, a good circuit board and a bad circuit. You know, the brushless motor is, is doing quite well. And anyway, I'm just going to spin this around and just kind of just set it up on top. Now you can see a bit of the burn mark, and that's where the flame was coming out of. But because I recognized it, I was able to shut it off. I think the drone would have caught on fire. But anyway, we saved most of it. The bad part is, and here's the price you pay for being a smoker, is when I came time to dismantle this should have been pretty straightforward to remove the protection guards away from it. But over its usage, somehow things got tightened too well, and basically the screw input stripped up inside. Normally I would have had patience and I would have been able to do it properly, but having severe nicotine withdrawals, I rushed it, and unfortunately I damaged the body, so I've got to order another one. Those are about 70 bucks. Right now, including the body, the circuit board, and the motor, I'm probably looking at about $125 worth of damage. Now this could have been really bad if I would have been like I did a couple days ago, flew over the St. John River, and that short would have taken place. In the past, I had noticed that side was acting a little funny. I seen the red lights come on, but it was just briefly, so I never thought anything seriously. But back in January, I did have a crash, and I suspect that I loosened some wires up on that, I guess I'm going to call it the starboard front, otherwise known as the A propeller. Anyway, it died on me today, and it'll probably be, by the time I get all the parts for it, it'll probably be months. I just may end up saying screw it and go for a DJI Phantom. Okay, thanks for listening to my rant.